Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. My name is Nazaruddin bin Nazir, and today for the video presentation of EDU 550, the movie that I chose is based on the movie Freedom Writers that was produced on 2007. So to start with, how about we have a summary of the movie Freedom Writers. So Freedom Writers is a 2000 drama film directed by Richard LaGravenese based on the true story of Erin Gruwell, a young teacher who inspired her racially divided class at rich student in Long Beach, California. After the 1992 Los Angeles riots, Erin, played by Hilary Swank, faced a challenging task as she teaches a group of students known as the Unteachable, who come from ethnic background and have a history of gang violence and racial tension. Through the power of writing, Erin encourages her students to express themselves and share their experiences, leading to the breaking down of facial barriers and the formation of a united group called the Freedom Writers. And that's how the title of the movie is given, Freedom Writers. Despite facing resistance from colleagues and personal challenges, Erin's dedication pays off as the students' writing gain recognition and their stories are published as the Freedom Writers Diary, which the books itself change the perception and highlight the transformative power of education, empathy, and understanding towards students. So for this video presentation, I would like to discuss about the classroom management issue faced by our main character and how do she herself overcome it and turn the issue to her own advantage. So let's move on to our first issue. So the first issue that is faced by our main character is lack of student engagement and motivation during class. So the student in her classroom come from diverse background and have experienced various forms of trauma, which has resulted in a lack of interest in their education. Erin, our main character, initially struggled to connect with her student because they are divided along racial and gang lines. The students exhibit disruptive behavior and disrespect to each other, and a general disinterest in learning. The classroom environment is chaotic, making it difficult for Erin to establish a positive and productive learning environment. So one of the main reasons this happened is due to the lack of engagement in the student part. Due to their personal experience with violence, poverty, and discrimination, many of them have witnessed or been a victim of gang-related violence, which has created a sense of fear and mistrust among them. This fear and mistrust manifest in their interaction with each other and their disengagement from academic pursuit. Moreover, the students' diverse background and cultural differences contributed to the challenges Erin faces. The racial tension within the classroom created a hostile environment with students forming cliques based on their ethnic background. The division further hampers their ability to connect with one another and engage in meaningful discussion. Additionally, the student lack of faith in the education system and their own ability adds to the disinterest in learning. They have been constantly let down by the system. For example, the teachers at the school do not give the attention that they deserve, as all they are looked down upon by all the teachers in the school. They have become they also have failed to address their individual needs and provide them with necessary support. As a result, they have developed a negative perception of education and see it as irrelevant to their life. Where the difference happened when our main character Erin recognized the importance of addressing this underlying issue, which creates a conducive learning environment. She takes time to understand her student background. By doing so, she is being very different compared to the other teachers. she tried to understand student background, experiences, and struggle. So, how do our main character overcome this problem? She basically applying three important skills of being a good communicator toward her teaching, which are speaking skills, listening skills, and nonverbal communication. These three component is very important into making someone being a good communicator, which our main character is good at. So let's go further in depth on how our main character is a good communicator. So first of all, listening skills. By mastering listening skill, you can effectively managing your classroom, as it will be easier if you and your student have a good listening skill. Listening is a critical skill for making and keeping relationships. So, for the listening skill, our main character Erin Grewell encourages her students to actively listen to one another's stories and experiences by creating a safe and inclusive environment, where by doing so, she fosters empathy and understanding among her diverse group of students. Throughout the film, our main character Erin uses various techniques to improve her student listening skills. She introduces concept of the line game, which is very unique as it is not known by many, where students stand online and share personal experience, encouraging their peers to actively listen and empathize. Additionally, she assigned genre writing as a mean for students to express themselves for her better understanding their individual struggle. By emphasizing the value of listening and creating a space for open dialogue, Erin Grewell helps students develop empathy, respect, and deep understanding of one another. This listening skill play a crucial role in how she maintain a good relationship or how she build a good relationship with her student. So the second skills needed to be a good communicator, where our main character are good at, is speaking skills, where you and your student will benefit considerably if you have effective speaking skill and you work with your student on developing their speaking skills. For based on the movie, the speaking skills is very important, as where our main character Erin Grewell encourages his students to express themselves not only through writing but also through verbal communication. She creates a safe and inclusive environment where students could feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and experiences through various activity and discussion. She helps them develop their speaking skills by encouraging them to speak up, express their opinion, and engage in dialogue with another, where before most of them do not even know each other's name, where they are in the same class. As the students become more confident in expressing themselves, their speaking skill improve. They learn to articulate their ideas, communicate effectively, and engage in a meaningful conversation. This growth in their speaking ability is showcased in scenes where they participate in class discussion, present their writing assignment, and even deliver speech in front of many people in front of the school. For the nonverbal communication in the movie, as for nonverbal communication, it plays a significant role in conveying emotion, thoughts, and relationship between characters. Based on the movie, there are a few scenes that we could see on how important facial expression in being a good communicator. So first scene where we could see facial expression, where the student facial expression often reveal their emotion and reaction through various situations. For instance, when they are initially skeptical of their new teacher, our main character Erin Grewell, their facial expression show doubt and resistance toward her. This happened in the first scene where they first seen Erin Gruwell as she is a new teacher, and as the movie progresses, their expression change to reflect trust, understanding, and engagement. The second non-verbal communication that shown a lot in the movie is body language. Non-verbal cues such as body posture, gesture, movement are used to communicate in the movie. For example, when Erin Gruwell entered the classroom for the first time, the student slouch posture and cross arm indicate disinterest, lack of engagement. But as the story unfolds, their body language it gradually shifts to open posture, leaning forward and actively participating in discussion. Eye contact is also an important nonverbal communication, where eye contact is a powerful nonverbal communication tool used in the movie. Initially, the students avoid eye contact with each other and with Erin Gruwell. This reflecting their lack of trust and connection as they come from different backgrounds and their involvement with the gang activities. However, as they start to bond and form relationship through the movie, their eye contact become more frequent and meaningful, symbolizing their growing unity and support to one another. Silence is also another form of nonverbal communication used in the movie. There are moments when the character remains silent, allowing their expression and body language to convey their thoughts and emotion. These silent moments often occur during intense or emotional scenes, which emphasize the impact of nonverbal communication towards being a good communicator. And the last nonverbal communication used by the student and the teacher in the movie is writing. As throughout the movie, the students express themselves throughout the artwork and writing. Their drawing, painting, and journal and entries serve as a nonverbal form of communication, allowing them to convey their experience, emotion, and personal growth, as they themselves is not confident when speaking, where they choose another option where they use this nonverbal option, so that as time goes on they could build up their confidence. Character also deals with the problematic behavior through management strategy, which are minor intervention and major intervention. So let's see on how our main character use this strategy or this intervention towards her own advantage on dealing with problem behaviors of a student. We utilize minor intervention. So first of all, minor intervention is some problem require only minor intervention. This problem involve behavior that if infrequent usually don't disrupt class activity and learning. For example, student might call out to teacher or leave their seat without permission. As for the moderate intervention is some behavior require stronger intervention than those just described. For example, when student abuse privileges, disrupt an activity, goof off, or interfere with instruction or the student works. In the movie, there was a scene where when she start her new class, her student is making a problem where they are fighting with each other due to a small note where it mocked the other student. So they start fighting about that, and what our main character in Gruwell do, she isolate the students who are fighting as she separate them towards the opposite side of the class, toward the opposite end of each row of the seat, so that they could not argue with each other, therefore making the class situation more chaotic. The main character also implement a seating plan where she arranged the seating in a way that minimized distraction and promote engagement, considering group students, strategically placing those who may have difficulty focusing near the front or with supportive peers. This is due to the effect of the gang activity toward the student behavior, where they think how or what nationality is them, they should be in that group and they should not interact with other group as they consider each of themselves are enemy. Our main character also use positive reinforcement, where she acknowledge and reward positive behavior of her student by praising them for their effort, achievement, and contribution to the class. This uh, this could motivate students to continue behaving this way. Therefore, it could make them the student to be more interested in learning and participating in the class activity actively. She also built a good relationship as she takes a very high amount of effort and a long amount of time to get to know her student individually, which show how genuine she interested in their life experiences and challenges. Building this positive relationship with students, our main character help create a supportive and respectful classroom environment where her student could openly and comfortably and share with each other regarding their experience, regarding their difficulties. Lastly, our main character foster a safe and inclusive environment where she create a classroom culture that celebrate diversity and promote inclusivity, where they consider people as individual, not a group. By doing so, she encouraged students to respect and appreciate each other's differences, address any instances of bullying or discrimination promptly and firmly. This made her class becoming a safe and inclusive environment toward her students, where in the movie it shows how effective and how important it is in managing the classroom as a teacher herself.